As we approach Thanksgiving, it's important to remember lives were lost and families shattered by Hurricane Helene just 2 months ago. Hundreds of volunteers rushed to help, including Matt McSwain, who organized 100 personal helicopters and 200 pilots to deliver emergency aid to some of the hardest hit areas of North Carolina. And now, because of a FEMA regulation, some families urgently in need of temporary housing are being denied delivery of trailers to their properties. That means they'll be forced to continue living out of hotels and even tents. As the founder and director of Operation Helo, Matt McSwain is working to get those families the assistance they so desperately need. He joins us now. So what is this catch-22, Matt? There are trailers available, right, that could be put on people's property that would give them a warm place to stay while they rebuild?
Well, again, thank you, Mr. Scott, for having me on tonight. Love to kind of explain where we're at in the State of the Union of the areas in the mountainous terrains. As you can imagine, some of the areas that we're trying to access to put these trailers, even with us, we're supplying 17, 18-foot, 19-foot trailers. We're even having a hard time getting up there. The FEMA trailers are quite large, and they're just not made for this mission. Just accessibility to these places takes four-wheel drive trucks and special vehicles. Some places we can't even get to where we're going. We have to put our temporary trailers in somebody else's property just because we can't get there. So there's a huge terrain issue. That's number one. And then there's various other issues when it comes to, sewer, power, all these things getting hooked up. There is no infrastructure anymore.
But one of the issues, as I understand it, is that FEMA won't let you put a trailer on a piece of ground that is considered flood prone. Well, all these people are out of their houses because they got flooded, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. That's correct. So again, we started running into this a couple of weeks ago, and we started making phone calls and calling everybody, knocking on representatives' doors and trying to get some answers of why these places can't have tiny homes or FEMA trailers. We even got a text back from our Speaker of the House that said, they can apply for grants. These people are so far out of touch with what's going on. Senator Ted Budd, we did get in touch with him, and within 24 hours, he got something on the president's desk addressing this very topic. So here's what we got. The floodplain has, this is a 1,000-year flood. So the topographical map shows, Ezra maps show the floodplain lines. Well, there is rules in place. I spoke with the state fire marshal an hour ago to get some clarity. There's rules in place that say that you can't put these trailers on floodplain property. Well, everything up there is now considered floodplain. And what a lot of people don't understand is the rivers that were 100-foot wide, now they're 600-foot wide in some places. So people not only lost their homes, but they lost the land that their homes were on. It's down to bedrock. So it expands out the area to which you can't put these trailers. So that's why, the route that we have chosen to go, these small temporary trailers, they can be moved around. It's not the best and it's not permanent. But yeah, I mean, if somebody could, somebody in the government could say, hey, we're going to lift these temporary restrictions right now and let this be, man, it could get a lot of people out of the cold right now instantly.
Yeah, because a lot of those people are living in tents, right?
It is heartbreaking. We delivered a tent to a lady, me and my co-founder, Eric Robinson, delivered a camper to a lady 2 weeks ago. Her and her daughters were living in a tent, and she literally was fending off a bear attack the night before because they had food in their tent. This is no joke, man. This is somebody needs to. People in the government are so out of touch with what's going on up there. If they would just put their mud boots on and go up there and walk around, if it was their mother and daughter, they would have a change of heart.
One of the stories that I've heard is that, volunteers such as yourself were shuttling supplies up to the hardest hit areas up there around Asheville and beyond, and that FEMA was actually telling them, leave those supplies, give them to us. We're FEMA, and you can't do this anymore. Is that true?
So I can only speak on one incident that we had with one of our pilots in a helicopter. It was in the Pensacola area. We had one of our pilots had flown a mission up there and started unloading supplies and relief supplies. Went up to FEMA had just came in the day before. I had flown in there the day before that. FEMA had started setting up. The following day is when this pilot went in. And to my understanding, when they were the minute they started unloading, FEMA started seizing all of those assets. Well, we decided that, hey, that was the last time we were going to fly supply missions into that LZ. If they needed them or they had them, we had direct contact with EOC. They could have got them, but we wasn't playing that game.
Yeah, some help from the government, huh? Well, you're a former Marine, right, Matt?
I still am a Marine, yes, sir.
I know. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It's always a tricky thing to handle, but you're doing great work up there, and I'm sure the people in North Carolina appreciate what you're doing, and the fact that you've got two senators, Senator Tillis and Senator Budd, fighting for you because of what you've done. That means a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Operation Helo, our volunteer pilots, our volunteers. I just can't say enough about the whole community coming together, wanting to help. It is remarkable day to day. I'm just blessed every day to wake up and be a part of this, and hopefully provide a little bit of shelter and hope for these people.
Yeah. Well, again, Thanksgiving is coming up, and we hope Americans remember how blessed they are, and maybe they can help some of your people out.